playing for a city. I'm playing for Round Rock. Well, it's a city. I'm playing for Leander. It's a city. There's a little difference in depending upon where you are, but at the end of the day, the high school world is based off of an us mentality, and it always has been. It's not about that individual, but in the club world, it is about that individual, and that's kind of the biggest aspect of it, in my opinion. I think that's probably the driving force that.
Welcome, Coaches Call listeners. This is Brian Pope, the COO of the Texas High School Coaches Association. As you start your school year, don't forget to check out all of our toolkits, which are designed to help coaches throughout their season. We have toolkits for Our Day to Shine, Officials Appreciation, and Teachers Appreciation under the Downloads tab on our website. And be sure to review the Heat Illness Prevention Playbook in the Coaches Education tab to find the latest resources on how to keep your athletes safe in the heat. We hope you enjoy this series of episodes that examine the high school coach's role in the college recruitment of their athletes. We want to thank all of our coaches for continuing to make a positive impact in the young people in your campuses and in your community.
Did you know that you can use podcasting to not only share the great news about your athletes and your programs, but as a fundraiser for your booster club? Yes, Lone Star Gridiron produced the 5th podcast in history and has been doing it nearly 20 years. We are expanding now to do shows outside of football. So whatever your sport, reach out to us at 713-269-4620, and we'll discuss how you can use this amazing tool to supercharge your program. And the best part, we do all the heavy lifting. Text your name and school to 713-269-4620. All right, welcome back to the Coach's Call. I'm Chris Daly. I am joined today by Jacob Thompson, Leander Rouse Volleyball Coach and recent THSCA Board of Directors, and John Carter, Round Rock Baseball Coach. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
So today we're going to talk about recruiting. And you guys have an interesting perspective because you can talk about it from the standpoint of a high school coach, but also as being involved in club sports. So it's kind of a landmine, right?
And it's changing every day.
Every day.
Well, let's talk about that. Jump right in. What's changing now?
I think their time frames change. The portals changed everything, and it slowed everything down to this point. Because what a college coach needs today, it changes next week. What they need in December changes from what they're going to need in January. It's a constant moving pendulum that's ever changing, and they can't keep up with it at this point in time with the portal. So, and it slowed things down for the kids. They've changed. I think they just recently changed the time frame on the baseball side. The volleyball side, they changed a few years back to where they can't actually have them on the phone until going into their junior year. They can't have contact with them. It used to be they could have contact with them when they were freshmen in high school. They could go on a couple of visits, some unofficial visits here and there. That's changed a little bit. Volleyball just recently changed some things. Now they can't even send out a questionnaire to a player until they are classified a junior.
And baseball has done similar things. They can't contact them until August of their junior season or their junior year. I think it's coming down the pipe the same way. I think they're trying to get that field level. The problem is when NIL came and they opened Pandora's box, along with the coach, their argument of the coach leaving, kids should have the opportunity to leave as well. That Pandora box they opened up, and they did it without putting stipulations in it. And because of that, I was talking to Tim Tadlock from Texas Tech about 2 weeks ago. He had 3 guys that he had brought in that he was looking to be his 3, 4, and 5-hole guys. And about 2 weeks before the portal closed, they all, in 2 days period of time, they came to him and said, we're going to the portal. And so coaches, from what I understand, the college coaches are no longer as hard or emphasized as on a high school kid because the pressure to win is right now, especially with the NIL money. If a booster or a guy is going to dump in $50,000 into a shortstop, and the shortstop leaves the next year, and you go back to him and say, "Hey, I need another $50,000 for another shortstop." After a while, it's that "fool me once, shame on and you; fool me twice, shame on me" mentality, and they're going to stop getting that. Well, so now the college coaches are going to say, "I got to go find guys that are already developed that can perform right now," and it puts a lot of pressure on the high school kids because they want these kids, volleyball, basketball, baseball, doesn't matter. It's their dream to go try to play Division I sports because it's a $1 billion industry now, and it's really hurting the high school kid, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so do you think, though, because you made it sound like it puts more emphasis on the high school coach relationship if they're looking for someone who's already developed, or are they just looking for the skills there that you get in club and select sports?
Well, I'm going to use UConn baseball team this year as an example. You watch them; they made it to the Super Regionals. They had 7 Division III transfers.
Wow.
That started for them, and what they're doing is it's what a lot of in my opinion, a lot of these high school kids are going to start doing. They're going to start looking at the Division II, Division III schools and use that as a stepping stone. If they really feel like they can play a Division I at the Division I level, it's going to become a form of junior college, so to speak. And no offense to anybody, to junior colleges, Division II, Division III, it's all great baseball, great volleyball, whatever. But they're using those as stepping stones. They can go in, they can develop, they can put up numbers, and once they put up numbers and have statistical data for them, now they can say, "Hey, this guy puts up numbers, and we can take a look at this guy. We can help get him over that hump." And so that's when they start bringing them into the Division I, the Power 5 schools, however you want to say it. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I just think they have to taper expectations, because at this point, like, even you could see it on the football side of things, you can see it on the volleyball side of things, you can see it across the gamut of sports, is even the Division IIs at this point in time, which used to get the second tier kid, the one that was just underdeveloped enough to be at a bigger school. Now they're waiting and they're pushing that high school kid kind of to the backside because they're going to wait to see what pops up in the portal. Now I've got a 20-year-old kid that I can have for 2 more years because he's played 2 years at this level and got some good film, versus I'm going to take this kid that's a 4-year kid that has to develop for 2 years. Well, this kid's already at this 2-year mark. So I think it just changes the reality of what the kids need to do, because the 2% of the athletes out there that are going to go play at a Power 5 school.
Right.
Well, the rest of those kids have to find a place to go somewhere. The problem is that it's just slowing down tremendously, and it's no longer, all of a sudden, August 4 of my junior year, I've committed to play, because probably haven't committed to play at that point in time. And now it becomes a year later process.
And on the same level, those kids that they're going to have for 2 years have been in the weight room full-time for 2 years. They've been in a strength program. They've been able to solely focus on that piece of it to build the engine, so to speak. And now the engine's built. Now we can go develop it and use it to our advantage. To the high school kids in Division II, Division III schools, now they're not going, in my opinion, able to go after the high school kids. Maybe they back up. They are able to go after the high school kids a little bit more and say, "Hey, you can use this as a stepping stone." I had a kid that happened to last week. He was at Southwestern University in Georgetown, and now he's going to Tarleton State. And Tarleton State's a Division I school, and getting a chance to go pitch. He used that as a stepping stone to get there. It can be a two-edged sword, if you ask me.
Yeah, let me ask you all this. Let's back up a little bit. Because a lot of high school coaches, when it comes to their involvement with club sports, they're like, "Oh, well, that's that. It's not us." But y'all each have some involvement. Explain what your involvement is in club or select sports.
So I'm actually the college recruiting coordinator for one of the larger clubs in the country for volleyball. So I kind of see it from both ends
Right.
and from both avenues. It's different. I think the bigger side of things comes down to education on both sides. I have the background so that it kind of helps at Rouse, but not all the high school coaches kind of understand the ins and outs. And hey, it's ironically enough, I had a high school coach talking to me a while ago about, hey, you've had some big kids come through when they take their official visits, because they can start taking official visits in August. And when they start taking their official visits, what did you do about their time that they missed? Well, my relationship with the college coach is different from what a lot of the high school coaches are, because a lot of the high school coaches are not having a weekly conversation or a monthly conversation with said college coach.
Right.
This coach's kid is going to miss 7 different matches because of official visits. Whereas I said, did you talk to the college coach? She goes, no. Okay. So I've always been able to talk to the college coaches that are with them in scheduling those visits, and we kind of schedule it around to where they're not missing an actual match, and we sacrifice that. She's going to miss, maybe she misses a Monday practice, but she's back Tuesday and she's playing in Tuesday's match. I'm not going to punish that kid for taking a trip to go on an official visit to try to figure out if it's A, B, or C school that she wants to go to. So let's compromise. Let's miss a practice. Let's leave after a tournament. Hey, we're out of town at this tournament, but we're close to an airport. Maybe your parents can just take you from there. Now you go, you miss Sunday. We're not doing anything on Sunday anyways, but you're going to miss Monday practice. You're there by Tuesday at noon. We go play the match. Everything is fine. Or you leave a Tuesday night match and you fly out the super late flight or whatever. Now you're gone Wednesday and Thursday, but you're back by Friday's match. Never, knock on the wood, I've never had an athlete of that caliber miss a match for Rouse. We'll miss practice, but I've had the opportunity to be able to develop a relationship with those college coaches. My next question to her was, did the club recruiting coordinator reach out to you and have those conversations with you? Because they can help out in that situation as well. And the kids can help out with that. The kids and the parents can say, hey, we've got high school game, tournament, match, whatever. We don't want to miss those. Can we schedule around? Because I have yet to find a coach out there that says, nope, I need you here on that day, and they're going to do it. They'll work around a schedule as long as everybody is upfront and honest that they don't want to miss. But again, that's an educational piece that you can. A lot of parents they feel they're a little nervous. Oh, they're asking me to come on a visit, but I don't want to sound like that person is going to be pushy. But it's 100% in the realm to ask that question. Hey, we don't want to miss this. And most college coaches would kind of applaud that because they don't want you to miss that. You don't want them to miss their college games down the road for some type of visit. So I think education to the parents, education to the high school coaches as well could help out in that.
And Coach Carter, tell me about your connection.
Well, on the baseball side of it, with the changes that have taken place, back 2 years ago, we had 8th graders committing. And college coaches would go to Jupiter, they'd go to all these different places, Perfect Game and so forth, and there'd be hundreds of coaches there. Well, now, one of my assistants at a tournament in Florida right now with his 2 sons, and he said, we're not seeing those coaches. They're not there.
There's nobody there.
There's nobody at these. So, to me, I think we need to figure out a way to help the families as much as anything. I think the travel, whatever you want to call it, it's great opportunities for these kids to go play and get better. But I think we're at the pocketbooks of the parents. It's becoming very difficult, and it's becoming very hard for parents to be able to afford to travel 6 weeks out of the summer. Now, baseball's a little different than volleyball because volleyball's in the season when they are able to go to start their recruiting trips. Baseball, is not in season, when they can go on trips, and a lot of them take unofficial visits for that reason, and so it's a little more easier in that realm. But one of the big things I'm concerned about is on the travel side is, are we making them or having them play so much that, one, we're putting it becomes a safety risk, but more importantly, are we taking them places that they're not even getting seen just to go play? Because I think you could save a lot of money and create something more local, get opportunities to play, great competition, and still save in the pocketbook. So, and because of that, with the portal and the NIL and those kind of things, I've listened to a lot of podcasts this summer and listened to college coaches. They're looking at the elite of the elite right now at the high school level. Now, will they go after some high school kids? Yeah, once they figure out what they can get out of the portal, now they're going to figure out what's my recruiting that I need to move forward with, and what guys do I need to go after. I've had a whole lot more communication since the changes in the NCAA from college coaches, because I'm around them for 2 years every day. They can have those conversations with me, and it's a good thing. I think the more we communicate as high school coaches with the travel coaches, as well as the parents, the players, the college coaches, I think we all have to be in the same communication tunnel, so to speak.
Yeah, I was interviewing Joey McGuire from Tech, and the subject came up about select club teams, travel teams, whatever you want to call them, and he emphasized, as a high school coach, you need to be involved in those too. You have to have a relationship with those and make sure those are good clubs, good organizations. So talk about the importance of that and how a high school coach can kind of get involved there and participate and make sure that he or she has a connection with what's going on in that child's career.
One of the things we do at the end of our season is we have an exit interview with our kids. Mm-hmm. And one of the conversations I had with them is all the skill development you're doing is fantastic. Kids want to go hit. Mm-hmm. They want to go work on their arm strength. They want to do the things to make them better. But they also need to understand what engine is driving that. And having the conversation of, hey, this is a time period where I need to put the ball down and be able to let my body recover from a long season. I mean, they're going from January to end of July, early August. Mm-hmm. That's a long period of time for a 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever-year-old kid. There's got to be a time where their bodies can recover. They can start working on the Volkswagen engine to make it a Ferrari instead of vice versa. Having conversations, being able to tell them, hey, at this point, you need to let your travel guys know you still want to work skill development, but we're going to shut the arms down. We're going to work really hard on the movement piece, the strength and conditioning piece, and those kind of things. It's a constant communication. Mm-hmm. I have a great relationship, I feel like, with the club teams in our Central Texas and the mm-hmm. kids that our kids play with. And it's great to be transparent with them and say, hey, just want you to know this is our ball down time or what have you. So that's what I think is communication is a big key.
Got it. And Coach Thompson, you're kind of unique in that you are both sides. It's not necessarily a relationship, but explain that for coaching.
But I think the relationship is a big piece of it from all standpoints. Now volleyball is different than what baseball is as well. So the volleyball select side mm-hmm. is after our season is over with, but we're still in contact with our kids. When the baseball side steps in, school's done. Like you're out and you've got an 8 weeks, 9 weeks worth of summer that they're not necessarily in contact. They get the weight room time or strength time that they get in the summer, but you're not necessarily available with them every single day of the week, and you don't know exactly what they're throwing and how long they're throwing and what their pitch counts were. On the volleyball side, as a high school volleyball coach at a program that is successful, where we're in the weight room 3 and 4 days a week, depending upon what time of year it is, we also have to know that, okay, April to March is the big qualifier season for them, and we have to be able to understand how to kind of taper down some things with them,
so they can perform at their
so
best.
that they're going to perform at their best every single time. So when we get into the Friday workouts, we have 2 different workouts that we develop, and one is, okay, if you have a tournament this weekend, you need this workout, and if you don't have a tournament this weekend, this is your workout. But again, I know the tournament schedules, so he doesn't know what his stud pitcher threw on Thursday of game 1 of the tournament that they had in Florida.
Right.
And he doesn't know that the kid probably threw 120 pitches on Thursday because the select coach got a little greedy and wanted to have a win, so he threw 120 pitches on Thursday, and then he came back in on Sunday and threw another 40 pitches on Sunday because they were in a 5th game or whatever needed to happen. He doesn't know that, nor do I know how many times she jumped over the course of a 3-day weekend. But I know that she's got a tournament coming up, so we're not going to go quite as hard here for Thursday and Friday, and maybe we cut your jumps down on Thursday because I know that you're about to jump forever on the weekend. But again, it's a communication piece, and he's got developed a relationship with the organizations around Central Texas, and then most of the high school coaches around have some type of development or some type of relationship with the organizations that are in Central Texas. And you have to work hand in hand with them, and soccer finds out, soccer's different too, because they're never ending in the soccer world. Yeah. So you got to be able to juggle all of that type of stuff. And the big piece is relationship.
He laid it up there for me. That's where I talk to my kids about self-advocacy. They have to be able to advocate for themselves. I need to tell, I told my guys, 85 pitches. If you throw more than 40 pitches on a Thursday, you need to tell them I'm 90 pitches max for the weekend. I'm not going to go out there and try and throw 120 on a Thursday and come back and throw 40 on Saturday. That's not smart. That's not smart in terms of safety. And that's why we have a high school pitch count. That's why we have to monitor those things. We have to be very open and transparent about those things.
Yeah, and Coach Carter mentioned the engine, building the engine. I love that analogy. Talk to me, Coach Thompson, about what high school coaches do well versus the club sports. Just so that for people who are listening who are maybe not coaches, maybe not involved anywhere in coaching, but so parents know, so kids know what the value of high school versus.
It is pretty simple and cut and dry in my opinion. Club is unfortunately a necessary evil that we have all developed. When we all grew up, we played this sport for this time, then we went to that sport for this time, then we went to that. We didn't do it year-round. Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil, and depending upon where you live in your area, you may or may not need it as much as the others, but if you want to be an above-average program, it's a necessary evil. The major difference between the two is the club world is a me world, and it is about my stat line, and it is about what I am doing. It is about me. We're not putting team first. At the high school level, you're playing for a community. You're playing for your friends, your family, the community around you. And fortunate for us, when we put a jersey on, we're playing for a gentleman's name. That is an 88-year-old gentleman that shows up to everything. And Charlie Rouse is what we are. And it's a little different than saying, okay, I'm playing for a city. I'm playing for Round Rock. Well, it's a city. I'm playing for Leander. It's a city. There's a little difference in depending upon where you are, but at the end of the day, the high school world is based off of an us mentality, and it always has been. It's not about that individual, but in the club world, it is about that individual, and that's kind of the biggest aspect of it, in my opinion. I think that's probably the driving force. That if I'm a parent that doesn't know any different, okay, what is going to be better for my kid's future? Are they going to learn some life lessons? Are they going to play for a community? Are they going to play for a family? Yes. Okay, that's got to be the mindset. And then, okay, the me side's over here. We got to have it. It's going to be a necessary evil. It's not going away. I mean, football was the saving grace for the longest time that it didn't have it. But now with the 7-on-7 stuff and all of this, it's actually making its way into the football world. So everybody's got it, and everybody's doing it, and it's keeping up with the Joneses. But there's something to be said about stepping on a court or stepping on a field on a Tuesday night in front of all of your friends versus grandma, grandpa that is coming to a club tournament or a select tournament one time, and your brother and sister who's not looking up from their iPads. And now I've got every kid that was in my algebra class that's standing in the stands, or you've got the whole football student section that's, you know, all the boys are shirtless and they've got their names painted and they're beating on the trash cans. Yeah. It's just different. And that's what it's about. Like, this is the community side of things, and that's what you got to put things out.
And Coach Carter, other than the mental difference and the philosophical differences, talk about some specifics to the mechanics of the game. What does high school do better?
Well, you nailed it. Your explanation was fantastic, so I applaud you on that. I'm going to tell you a quick little story. About 3 years ago, right before COVID, we have an incoming freshman team that we put together in the summer. We have a tryout. They play together just to get to know the guys around them and get a little more baseball, because that younger group shuts it off at the end of the spring semester. Well, we're playing at Stony Point. I went over there to watch, and I'm sitting over there in the stands. And I walk over to check on the coaches and team, and I hear a kid say, it's exactly what he said, "Man, I've never played in front of girls before." And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I didn't think about that. He said, "I'm a little nervous." I could hear him. And he said, "She was in my algebra class last year at Walsh, and I've never played in front of them. I just played in front of my parents." So it's a different feeling for those kids, because now when they play in the club realm, they're paying a fee. There's a limited roster, and they're going to get the opportunities to play. Now it may not be equal. That's up to them and whatever they decide. But in our realm, I'm not paying it. You're not paying anything. It's the best nine on the field. Yeah. And I tell my parents in our meeting, everybody in this room wants the best 8 players and their kid on the field. And unfortunately, that's not the realm we're in. The realm we're in is, from the high school perspective, as you said, you're representing a school, a family, a community, whatever you want to call it. You're trying to put the best product to give your kids a chance to develop and, however, win. Yeah. Because we all want to win. Development piece is in there. It's not only the skill development, but the spiritual development, the emotional development, the mental development, all those things, how to become a better person, and things you can take down the road in life. That's what we are trying to do at the high school level. I'm not saying that the clubs and travel teams aren't doing those things, but it's more, this is about my skill development, what I can do to get better, the at-bats, the mound time, the defensive skills, whatever it may be. I'm going to work on it here. We're working on it every day. But we're also having to teach them how to do the pledge correctly, how to do the national anthem, how to bunt, how to do the team-oriented skills that are more about the team than it is just about the individual.
Definitely. And final question for both of y'all. When you're talking to a new coach in your sport, what advice would you give them as it relates to club or select? Because they can't just put their head in the sand and ignore it.
Develop a relationship with them at the end of the day. You're going to need them. Don't make them your enemy, because it's a fight that none of us are going to win. If you make it a fight, we're going to lose that battle. They think they are smarter than everybody else. I mean, again, volleyball still has probably the best of it, because if you were to take the club coaching world, if you take that, I would say probably 75% of the club coaches out there are at either a high school or a middle school. Not all the sports can say that. But it's a necessary evil that we're never going to win the battle. Be open-minded, work with them, ask them what they're doing, and tell them what you're doing. And it's a two-way street. It's a relationship between both of them.
I go back to the communication. I think communication is a key. I think that you need to make sure you address it. Talk to your parents about it. Let them understand that you're not ever saying don't do it, but you have to have a good communication. You have to have some self-advocacy. You've got to be willing to say, I'm going to take care of my kid. And sometimes, the high school game isn't for some kids. They don't deal with it well. I don't want our kids to have that. I'm going to take my ball and go somewhere else when I don't get my way. Kids need to fail sometimes, and that's the biggest worry I have is let them fail. Don't be such to the point where if they aren't successful on this travel team that you're going to go help them find another one. Let them fail. I don't know if that answers the question directly, but I do feel like that you have to have a relationship, and it doesn't have to be your best friend,
right?
But you have to be willing to have a conversation and say, hey, especially if it's detrimental in your mind to the kid. If it's not, they're doing well and they're enjoying their experience, let them enjoy their experience. I'll tell you what, I wish I could have gone and played at Vanderbilt when I was playing. I didn't get that opportunity, but some of my fondest memories are American Legion baseball. When I was playing American Legion and we were playing in Sulphur Springs at the state tournament, that was a time of my life in the summer of my junior year. So there's value to playing in the summer with other people and enjoying that time for sure.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Coach Thompson, Coach Carter, so much for being here and sharing some of your insight.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Cool.
Appreciate you.
The interviews in this show are brought to you by the Texas High School Coaches Association. THSCA provides to its more than 26,000 members access to the people, events, tools, and resources to help them thrive in the profession, become trusted leaders in their communities, and live balanced and successful lives. The work and sacrifice coaches do every day is vital to the development and success of student athletes. The THSCA supports these efforts. We fight for every coach, provide them with the connections and resources to improve their lives, and help all student athletes throughout the state enjoy lasting success. The mission statement is simply this: to help and serve Texas high school coaches as they work to help and serve student athletes. Helping coaches help kids. For more information on the THSCA, visit www.thsca.com. Hey, of course, I want to thank our guest, but I also want to thank you. I want to thank you for giving me what I consider the most valuable thing you can give, your time and your attention. And I know you don't do it to hear me. You hear it for the great messages provided by the THSCA. And hey, if you'd like to associate your company with the THSCA and the Coach's Call podcast, limited sponsorship opportunities are available. You can reach out to me, Chris Daly, 713-269-4620, or head over to my website, freshmediaworks.com. Once again, thank you so much for supporting Texas high school coaches. Please share this show out to everybody you can so that we can help share these important messages. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time on The Coach's Call.